right, we're going to wrap this thing up, and I'm going to do one last thing here. I'd like to get serious for a minute because that's rare for me. I find that, first of all, this message today is relevant to virtually everybody in this room. I don't care what your age. In fact, I have found that seniors many times tap their own natural weirdness better than us. Why do you think that's the case? Once they leave the workplace? I mean, think about that. Don't you have grandparents who are kind of wacky? And they don't care? They don't have to anymore. Yeah, they don't care. They don't have to. Growing up, my dad was a milkman, a bread man. We were poor. And his dream was always, he loved the drums. He never played the drums, never had lessons in the drums. And on his 75th birthday, I decided to get out of the box, and I bought him a drum set. That's him in the garage. Okay? His name's Jack. And he was a pretty bitter guy at this point. He really was the opposite of what we're talking about today. He was the most, in many ways, prejudiced and racist and all kinds of things and bitter about the world. And I took him out in the garage and said, "Happy 75th birthday." And he cried, just cried. He went out, now here he is at 75. He took lessons, went to class on Saturdays for drumming, bought videos. He would call me and record songs on my answering machine. You're never too old, okay? I truly believe, I mean, I am convinced that kept him alive and changed his attitude to a great degree. When he had his frustrations, he'd go in the basement, and my mother loved it. I thought she'd hate it. She just thought it was so cool because he was good. Because we'd been practicing with pots and pans on the kitchen floor for years, okay, to the radio, just hitting pots and pans. So it was really, really a cool thing. Now, my father passed away. He had a brain tumor, but he used those drums for, I'm guessing, 5 or 6 years. My mother, just in casual passing, around her 80th birthday, she goes, "You know, Johnny," she says, "I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been on the Goodyear blimp, and I've been in a helicopter, but I really have never been in a hot air balloon. One thing I'd really wish I could have done before I die is to get a ride on a hot air balloon." Mission. They do not make ADA, disability-friendly hot air balloons, okay? She's in a wheelchair. So I had to really do some research. That's her little head right there, okay? Smiling, see her smiling right there behind the guide wire? I got her into a hot air balloon on her 80th birthday. Got the newspaper to do an article about it. The senior center, of course, she was the hero. You're never too old, all right? These are my weird parents. They didn't say, "Oh, that's stupid," or "Don't do that." They're going, "Yippee, let's go," you know? And then, as I said, I decided not to be a musician, and I wasn't going to be a race car driver, but on my 50th birthday, my wife got me 20 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the number 3 NASCAR car. Yeah, cool. You can see all the spectators watching. It was a big event. I'm glad there was nobody there. I was a wimp. I was a wimp. Now, what I want to ask you, the last question I want to ask you, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. What's one thing that you would love to do before you die? Just one thing. Just sit and think about it for a minute. And then when you come up with something, if you're willing to share it, I'd love to hear it. It doesn't have to be anything earth-shaking. Yes?
I want to write a book.
You have a subject yet?
I do.
Excellent. Good. That's excellent. Want me to ask more questions?
No.
That's a good one. You can do it a little bit at a time. Trust me, it's easier. The second book I wrote, I got to tell you this quick story. Because of the sleep deprivation, my wife begged me not to write a second book. So being a contrarian, I decided I'd write the second book on the sly and prove to her I could do it without her knowing. And I did. And I didn't care if it even got published. I thought, this is a goal for me to write a book and not be a jerk. And I got it all done, and I got it published, and it's dedicated to her because she puts up with me. And it was just my way of saying, I can write a book without being sleep deprived. And it was so much easier. Even if you never get it published, it's a wonderful exercise. It's a way to get your thoughts on paper. Good one, good one. Any more? I see a half a hand there. No? You better never go to an auction. Nobody wants to share? One thing, just one thing. It doesn't have to be realistic.
Flying a P-51 Mustang.
There you go. Go to the Roush plant in Livonia, Michigan. You know where that is? That's the only certified P-51 shop in the world. So, by Detroit. Jack Roush. That's cool. What else? Come on, yes.
Hang glide.
All right, yes, hang glide. You can do that tomorrow. Why not?
You gotta work.
Oh, you should not poop on a parade. Any more? Yes.
Get a Greece.
Say again.
I want to get a Greece.
Go to Greece. Okay. I hear the dollar's pretty strong there.
Scuba dive.
Scuba dive. Okay.
Get my PhD.
Okay. PhD. These are all good.
I want to be the guy banging on the plexiglass at a hockey game.
From which side? From the which side? The spectator or the player?
The spectator.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. You should do it. All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. What have we learned? We're born weird, then we become normal, and then we got to get weird. And I just challenge you to make a couple of new habits, okay, that like we talked about today, to kind of get out of the box. It doesn't have to be monumental. Baby steps. But I'm telling you, you know, and I practice what I preach, as you can see. And my wife and I, thank goodness I have a wife who enables and facilitates this, and she's just as much weird as I am. And we try new stuff all the time. So, and I'm telling you, it does change your attitude, it changes your perspective. And you work in an environment that, I mean, I hope you don't take it for granted. Trust me, I see all kinds of organizations, and this is one where you can blossom and you can be yourself in many cases, and you've got resources. And the point is, you've got some really cool people to bounce stuff off of and to share these ideas with. So try to do that. It's just, there's a quote by, I can't remember, well, the quote earlier, the greatest thing in life is to die young, but to delay it as long as possible. The childlike thinking, the playfulness, okay? I want you to, Oliver Wendell Holmes, that's what it was. He said, alas for those who never sing, but die with all their music inside of them. Alas for those who never sing, but die with all their music inside of them. Samuel had an idea for today, for the closing, the music. He said, this is what we are. I got to give Sam that one. Thank you. You've been great.